Hey folks, Survient here. I'm just giving this new series I'm going to start up a little bit of an intro because these games are near and dear to my heart. Now, I'm going to be playing them in reverse order, and why, you might ask? Well, fuck it. That's why. I want to do it that way. What the series I'm talking about is what's collectively known as, and this is more of a nickname, not the official title, as the Soul Blazer series. The company that came up with the series collectively is known as Quintet. They were backed at the time by NX. However, the games as a whole were unique at the time. The first one to come out was going on the moniker of the name of the trilogy. Soul Blazer was the initial title. All three games were for Super Nintendo, so it's kind of interesting to see a game go through and be on three entire games be on a console like that. And most of these games you're used to on Super Nintendo stretch over at least into either one console or another, or they'd even jump entire companies and platforms like with some of the other NX properties. But the Soul Blazer series is a little unique. There's a couple of quirks that happened with it. They all had a similar theme, not exactly the same, but you could see definitely some similarities between them. Right off the bat, one of the things you run into is you have Soul Blazer starting off being kind of a. At the time, I think Quintet was really trying to feel out where they wanted to take the direction. They had done other ones like ActRaiser, which I believe Jack will be covering, but they did some interesting things at the time, and Soul Blazer was definitely way early into their start of game making as a development group. And so they were kind of, I think, experimenting with Soul Blazer, which is why I didn't really quite catch on as a title. One of the big ones to come up as a follow-up was Illusion of Gaia, which many Super Nintendo gamers were familiar with or are currently familiar with. It was heavily marketed and a lot of the promotions commercials while the Super Nintendo was going. It was always done collectively though, so some people may have missed it. It was always a part of a lineup of games they had running at the time. And then after that, it was interesting because in the U.S. that seemed to be the end of it, but actually in Europe and in Japan, they came out with Terranigma being the third game in the series. And again, none of these are officially linked together. This is all fans kind of correlating between the two, and each of the games kind of references the other, either directly or indirectly. And Terranigma was unique. I'm not sure why the exact reason they didn't release it in the U.S. There's a lot of speculation on that, but I'll go into a little more detail on the games as a whole as I do each review individually, but I'm just doing this as a whole to kind of explain why it's going to go in reverse order and just give you a little bit of an intro on where we're coming from, that this is going to be a three-game series type deal. There's some, not necessarily my favorite games of all time, but definitely very close. Nostalgic wise, like, of the three, I like Terranigma the best, just personal preference, but like nostalgia wise, the one that hits me the most is Illusion of Gaia, because that was the one I played as a kid. Unfortunately, I missed out on Terranigma growing up. I think I would have definitely leaned towards the third if I had known about it, but things happen, and so I had the nice chance to play Terranigma back in my high school days after poking around emulators, and lo and behold, I bump in. There was a third game in the series, and I loved every minute of playing that for the first time. So, going back and redoing these is always a pleasure for me. I do play them every couple of years, doing a full replay. So, I figured this time around I'd do a recording of it. So, I hope you enjoy. I did enjoy watching these as much as I enjoy playing them. There's a lot of good things to take out of these games. If you haven't played them, I highly recommend you give them a shot. If you just want to check them out and just kind of reference, feel free to watch along. And there's also a bunch of other good, just purist reviews if you don't want to hear my commentary as I'm playing. So, whichever your preference, and thanks for watching.